two. Down to one. It's Deans. Yes!
This ball is crushed.
MC Cannibal, rap Hannibal. Here to change the game, mainframe, all y'all programmable. Coaching on tracks, balling like a paper like Phil. I'm on being so real, my rhymes convict and heal.
Welcome to the Faithful Fan Show. I'm your host, Tony Cook. I am here today with not one, but two guests, a few of my finest friends. Big Juan, what up? And Matt Robinson, the Hot Take Titan? Is that what we call you around here?
Hot Take Titan.
Hey, gentlemen, it's been a second. Last time I talked to you, it was a little bit before the draft. We talked about QB controversy, and what do you know? Both my boys got QBs in the first round. I want to talk to y'all about it. Let me start with Juan, because you picked second overall, Zach Wilson. How do you feel about it?
I did it.
Yes, no, yeah, you are the GM of the Jets. Let's go. How did you feel about the pick? Having a week to sit on it, sit on the pick. How do you feel about it, Zach Wilson?
Honestly, I gotta say I feel good. And as a Jets fan, you always gotta, be careful with how good you feel because you're just waiting to get your heart ripped out. But it was cool to see Mr. Wilson look excited. Like he came out, excited and high-fiving, and he's saying all the right things. And I don't want to go down the sexist route in the show, Tony, but his mom is getting a lot of attention.
Yo, I was gonna say it. If you didn't.
But
I
didn't even notice it till
he seems annoyed about that. He doesn't like.
Well, he should be, but
his mom is getting all this. He snapped at one of the dudes in the interview. He's like, "Yeah, we like to keep my mom as private as possible." But yeah, anyways.
Dog, but that's gonna be unavoidable. But the kid looks he looks like he's got all the right attitude.
Yeah.
The main thing is he's excited. When dudes get drafted by the Jets, they're probably like, dang. But he looks excited. He looks ready for a challenge. And that's what the Jets are. It's a challenge, and if it works out, he's looking at endorsements and ridiculous money.
Definitely. He's got it lined up
for the next 3 years. Within 3 years, he could easily be one of the highest paid players in the league just through endorsements and things. Just being in New York. So right now I'm excited. Honestly, it looks good, and coach talking him up, and so
go Jets. Go Jets.
Jets. Okay. Baby, Jets. Jets.
So we're excited about the first round pick of the Jets. Matt, how do you feel? Y'all traded up. No, I talked to you the whole draft. I was kind of talking to you. And tell us how you felt. It was up and down for you.
It was definitely up and down. The night of the draft, I'm gonna be transparent. The night of the draft, when we made the trade, I hit you immediately. I was like, yo, it's gonna be Justin Fields or Mac Jones, right? I was like, Nagy couldn't mess this up and get Mac Jones. I have a feeling. They get Justin Fields. My initial reaction, I was still like, man, he is an Ohio State quarterback. Somebody please tell me the last time Ohio State produced a solid NFL quarterback.
It's never happened, has it?
No. And then I had told you I had been watching all the quarterbacks, their game tape, the throws, and I was like, man, his decision making hasn't been the best, right? As I was going through it, I was like, his decision making isn't the best. So I was a mixed bag the day up. I was like, I don't know about this. But as after he got announced and I had time to go back and look at the tapes and I'm getting excited about it. The kid is an athlete. He's definitely bright. He's smart. Mm-hmm. It really comes down to, can Nagy and Pace put him in a good situation?
Okay.
Right now, he's not in a good situation. And we'll talk about that when we get to our holes. Yeah. But the key is really going to come down to, can they put the kid in a good situation? Will they run a scheme that he's comfortable with? Because they didn't do that with Trubisky, right?
Oh, they did.
I know we give Trubisky a hard time. He's a bad quarterback, all of these things. But I think the system that they were trying to run for him made him worse than he actually is as a player. And I could see Trubisky thriving and being a decent quarterback somewhere else in the NFL.
Hey, so You don't think so? You think they're implementing for sure a different system for Justin Fields, or it won't be a lot of the same? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think I think Nagy picked Justin Fields because Justin Fields is athletic, and Nagy plays a little bit of playground football. When you have an athletic quarterback, he can play playground football. But the thing about playground football is it doesn't work long term.
Right.
You can find some success short term, which he did. His first year, he found a lot of success with trick plays and like out of the bag thinking and all that stuff, and then struggled after that. I don't want to see the same thing happen with Justin Fields, where we come out, we use his athleticism, we throw a bunch of trick plays. We've got a lot of speed on the offensive side right now, right? So we're going to use that. I already can see we're going to be doing a lot of sweep swings,
picking
like
up
all that stuff.
I mean, signing Allen Robinson was a big, like you said, was a big free agency signing that'll hopefully help Fields as well. Honestly,
we got it. We tagged Allen Robinson, right? We didn't sign him. We tagged him. So there's still work that has to be done there, and all of this plays a factor of how well Justin Fields is going to do. You know?
Yeah, that's another thing. So I think it helps. I think it honestly helps him as opposed to saying Dalton's the guy. You know what I mean? I think this shows Allen Robinson, okay, they're putting steps in to make sure I got to pass someone that can pass me the ball. I think he likes this a little more. It feels better for Allen Robinson if you guys are trying to re-sign him. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It was worth the move. Another thing that I'm like, you know, like I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited we got a guy. Finally, we actually got a guy. We went up and got a guy. But we lost so much draft capital to get this guy.
Okay,
right?
tell us
and I'm not talking about
you gave up. I forgot about that part of it.
We gave up 3 first rounds and I think a 4th, right? But the thing about it is we have so much holes that we're not going to fill over free agency because of our cap space, the way we've been signing people over the last few years. The moves that Ryan Pace is making, it's exciting. Yeah, we got a guy. But what is the back end effect of that? We don't have the draft capital to now build around this guy, right? So you got to do it in free agency. Pace has signed a couple of bad contracts, which we've had, and we've seen the results of those bad contracts. Cutting Kyle Fuller, right?
Okay.
Almost cutting Akeem Hicks.
That was a shock to me, honestly.
It kind of. We don't have any money, right? We didn't have any money. We were going to lose somebody, right? So I had a feeling Kyle Fuller was one of the people we was going to lose simply because he's on the downtrend. From his all-pro year, he's the two seasons after that have been on a downtrend. I think that's because the defensive system has changed, right? And what we expect him to do and how we're using him has changed. I don't think his skill level has changed, right? But GMs don't look at that. They look at what do your numbers look like and what is that worth me paying? So I saw the writing was on the wall for Fuller to be gone. We made Akeem Hicks mad, right? Who knows if he's coming back? We don't know if he's coming back. Financially, we don't. If he leaves, okay, Wait,
so we're gonna get so we're transitioning straight into the holes now. The whole like as a team after the draft in a totality, not just 1st through 7th round. Did you guys all feel like you covered all the needs of your team, or do you have holes? We'll start with. Go ahead, Matt. Continue.
I think we did a great job drafting, right? The problem is with rookies, they've never played it down in the NFL, so you don't know if they're going to pan out. If all the people that we drafted panned out to where we drafted them out, we did fantastic and we're looking great. But how often does that happen? Every draft class, you maybe have 2 that actually pan out. And by pan out, I mean that just stick around as NFL players, not necessarily as on your team, panning out, working out for your team.
As a Cowboy fan, I need at least 3 or 4 of these guys that we picked up like 8 defenders. I need 4 of those dudes to get on the field, bro. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but just look at the landscape of the NFL. Like, look at your past couple of drafts. How many of your draft picks are still with the team?
We, like you said, it's an average between 2 or 3.
You see what I'm saying? So if Taven Jenkins and the corner, I can't think of his name right now, forgive me. But if Taven Jenkins on the corner that we got late in the draft, if they pan out, good, great. That's great. You know what I mean? That's great. We can add depth through other ways, through free agency, through signing off the waiver wire.
You're saying through the cornerback is still a depth issue after the draft for the Chicago Bears?
In this day and age, you got to have three that can go. You got to have 3 dogs, right? Your outside's got to be a dog, and your slot has to be a dog. Jalen Johnson looks promising. Can't call him a dog yet because he only played 8 games, right? Vildor looks promising. Can't call him a dog yet because he only played 2 games. Like where he got real reps where we depended on it. He looks promising. That's all we have, right? Everybody else had to get let go, or we have veterans that have been buried in the depth chart for a long time for a reason. So we just got to hope that guy we picked up is a dog, and all 3 of them turn out to be dogs. So,
and that's the thing with the draft. We don't, it's a 50-50 chance these guys are put in the right situation. They may even be dogs, but if that's 50% of the way. The other 50% is, are they put in the right situation to succeed?
right,
Juan,
exactly.
what are the holes after your draft? What are the holes that were left with your team?
I think the only thing, honestly, I mean, they went heavy on the skill positions. They got, I think like 3 corners or 3 safeties, which is a little surprising that because we already had a good safety in Marcus May, and and so it's a little surprising that they drafted 3 safeties for that. So maybe they're thinking one of those guys is going to be a decent, outside linebacker or another dime, corner or something like that. Who knows? But what they really don't have, and they haven't had for many years, and maybe this draft wasn't, particularly heavy on it, is an edge rusher. They don't have an edge rusher. They don't have
anybody. Still didn't acquire one in the draft.
What was that?
And still didn't acquire one in the draft.
Nope, they didn't get one in the draft, and I think they just went. It looks like they went mostly just for athletes. Period.
I think
they're just.
Go ahead, Juan. Look, I'll jump in.
To me, it just looks like they're trying to get they got players, like football players / athletes, and they're gonna see what rises out of the top and go from there. That's what it looks like to me right now. But yeah, edge rusher is the only hole really that's like still super glaring, because they did get an offensive lineman who's supposed to be a great guard and out of USC, and we already have a good tackle. So hopefully, that with the offensive line tight and the offense is humming, maybe the defense just plays, bend don't break.
Bend but don't break.
Bend don't break.
Juan, correct me if I'm wrong here. It seems like with the new coaching staff, the new regime, they're building that team to play against the Bills. I felt like they built out their secondary
as they should
to contend with what the Bills got over there with Josh Allen and the receiving core that they put out there. I feel like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to be faster. And it looks like that's what, they're just looking to put speed up on the field to see, because, Josh Allen, he's probably not going to get, you're probably not going to get a lot of sacks against that guy, right? You have to play contain against him,
right?
Rather than like trying to get to him to bring him down, because out of the pocket or whatever, he's gotten so much better in 2 years, man. Yeah. He's gotten so
it's crazy because early his first year, he almost was trash. Like if
he was just like an interception machine. Right. He was like a bad Brett Favre.
You could not have projected what you see today, dude.
He's really improved. I mean, he still has a cannon for an arm. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It looks like it. Yeah, for sure, I would agree. And it's just a lot of speed on that side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball right now.
And it's interesting, Matt, that you say speed. And Juan, you hint on, they're just trying to get faster. The Cowboys kind of did the same thing with their draft, with Micah Parsons and drafting Jabril Cox, 2 linebackers, and everyone says, we have 2 linebackers that are starting caliber already in Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith.
Yeah, but
one of those dudes are going to be out of job because both those boys could play. I expect Jabril Cox and Micah Parsons to get on the field this year. So it's interesting you say speed, because like Cox is speed strictly.
The Cowboys defense has no identity, right? It just seems like every year they're trying, or every 2 years they're rebuilding that defense, right? And the defense is costing them a lot of games, right? But ever since Marinelli's left, the defense hasn't really had an identity. And I think that's the problem, is because they don't have an identity. There's no consistency over the scheme. So the players is like, they're doing like this.
And that was the whole year. That was the whole season last year. So basically Marinelli, he wasn't there last year. We got Mike Nolan, which was McCarthy's boy. He hadn't coached for I don't know how long, and his last venture was really bad. But we basically had Nolan, and all the players were not with his scheme. I think it was too much disguising, not enough just see ball, go get ball. And that's what Marinelli was. So it was a complete switch up from what Marinelli was like, super simple. Dan Quinn, I hope Dan Quinn had a lot of control over the draft. He was drafting a bunch of Richard Sherman length corners. You know what I mean? And like, I think we got faster.
Identity. Yeah, he's
changing it again, but hopefully it's back to what some of the players that we already had knew. Like Jalen Smith, he played like trash last year, and I think it had a lot to do with a whole new scheme. You can't be a Pro Bowl linebacker and then you know what I mean? I don't know what it was last year with Jalen Smith, but I'm glad we drafted Michael Parsons. If the Cowboys had a need still on the team, I would say it's still at safety. We didn't draft a safety. We brought in Keanu Neal. We brought in DeMontis Kazi, both of Quinn's guys, but I would have still liked to draft a young guy. Both of them get injured every year. I don't know.
What about that offensive line, though? The offensive line is
Hey, see, we had a choice though. We had a choice to draft O-line in that first round, and I think what was his name? Slater was available.
Yeah.
He went to the Chargers later, but it was him or Micah Parsons. That's who I thought we were gonna pick. And I don't know. Micah seems like a better impact player. We will see if they put him to use. But that was
just, you guys just invested so much money in Dak Prescott, who's coming off a gruesome injury, and you're going to put him back out in front of a line that didn't protect him, nor did it protect Andy Dalton.
So Matt, you trying to tell me that my glaring hole is offensive tackle.
Your glaring hole is the fact that you guys can no longer make glaring holes.
We can't push nobody out for Zeke Elliott to get free.
Yeah.
So and that's the hard part, because Slater could have played guard or tackle. So he could have helped inside or outside. But that's neither here nor there. We've all talked about our glaring holes on our teams or whatever. We've come to the end of the first half of the show. When we come back, we're going to switch gears, guys. We're going to the NBA on the Faithful Fan Show. Thank you guys for sticking in with us.
Come in.
I'm so West, nigga, I'm so West. Where we the best? I'm so West, nigga, I'm so West. Me and the team up next. I'm so West, 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 West. Nigga, I'm so West, I'm so West, 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 West. Me and the team up next. Shit, I'm hella high, looking like Smokey off a Friday. Smoke one, roll one, then I hit the highway. Rate a hat low so you don't know how red my eyes is. I've been so West since the womb, ho. I'll be so West till my doom come. Arms crossed, fingers twisting doves with my tomb closed. You putos, I'm banging West while banging Kulo. You know I'm a dog, go harder than Cool Joe. I finished smacking, hit up back to get some new clothes. Skinny khakis, crew, shoelace bells too though. Use the tint to stuff the Swisher with that OG food. West Coast, all we know green, red, than the blue. I've been about the green, please don't get that shit confused. When I put it in the air, watch them float on fumes. In my palm trees from Cali, purple darkest bruise. And you know, Kush my cologne, Mary Jane, her perfume. I'm so West, nigga, I'm so West. Where we the best? I'm so West, nigga, I'm so West. Me and the team up next. I'm so West, 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 West. Nigga, I'm so West, I'm so West, 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 West. Me and the team up next. Hey, mom straight out of Watts.
Welcome back to the Faithful Fan Show. Here kicking it with Juan and Matt. Both my fellas are hot take titans. If you really think about it, you know, you got it to be
nobody's title, man. I don't want.
No, Juan. To be a Knicks fan, you got to be a hot take titan, baby. Like no. But in all seriousness, every time I make fun of the Knicks or try to clown the Knicks, they just win. All they've been doing is honestly, they just been winning, and they're balling out more so. And I like them more than the Nets right now. That's my hot take for this segment. Knicks or Nets, guys. I like in the playoffs right now. Where's Harden? I like the Knicks over the Nets if they were to meet. And they could meet in the playoffs. Where do we stand, guys? Knicks or Nets? I'm gonna let Juan hit it off because he's Knicks fan. Look at Matt's face.
That's a rough one. Obviously, the heart. I think the Knicks are more fun to watch. I mean, and they're a more interesting story, right? I mean, the Nets are were paid for, the bought and paid for, which is not. I'm not a hater on that, by the way. I'm not hating on somebody spending the money, putting a team together to win a championship. I don't hate on that at all. Like, so I mean, that's what it is. But the Knicks are just more interesting. Like they're the main thing that they're missing is another Derrick Rose type veteran that has a lot of experience, playoff. Even though Derrick Rose actually has no playoff experience, but he's veteran, right? Yeah, a little bit, right? But it's not like
he's got to run.
Had a lot of success in the playoffs. So the Knicks are just missing that one other guy in the locker room that can really just
a veteran. They need more veteran presence.
Yeah, just that can just get over those humps, like where everything's tight. And they've had some success with different people and so forth with with Randall and Rose. Rose has been playing way beyond my expectations, or I think anyone's expectations.
He's found a home over there.
Like, I mean,
he's found a home.
He's looking really good. He's looking great. So to me, I'm just gonna go with the heart and say the Knicks. All right.
Thank you.
Screw logic.
We on the Faithful Fan Show, baby.
Screw logic. We're gonna go all heart. I'm gonna say the Knicks are just gonna pull it out. Harden is gonna, as loaded as the Nets are, it seems like they're one injury away from just not doing anything, And on the Knicks side, they're a little more balanced, like they got
all their horses. They got all their horses, man.
Yeah, and they get a lot of contribution. I mean, obviously Randall has been that guy, but they get a lot of contribution from guys you've never really heard of before. Or
Quickly. Is his name Quickly? He comes off the bench too. He's like a guard.
He comes off the bench and scores 20, sits back down. It's like, all right.
I like that kid. Now
he's cool.
And when I say Knicks over Nets in the playoffs, I'm looking at it from what's going on right now. The Nets, everyone talks about the Lakers have low chemistry right now. They do. Lakers going into the playoffs have very little chemistry. The Nets are right there. And where is Harden? Is his hamstring really going to be good? It's always the hamstring every playoffs. Where we at, Matt? I let you sit long enough in silence. Where are you at with it?
Okay. I commend Juan, all right? Coming from the guy who said the Bulls are winning in 3 years, I commend it, right? Stay with your team. Ride with your team. Ride into that sunset with your boys. However,
but
when you put them sneakers on, you lace them up and you get on the court, the Nets, like, this is the thing. Everybody wants to take into account like these stretches at the end of the season, and we like, oh, the team is done. These teams are over. Like, they can't play.
It's the theatrics, Matt. It's the theatrics.
It's like, but at the end of the day, when your seat is secured, what are they playing for right now? Right? They're not jockeying up that. They're not jockeying up that rank too much more. Right? Maybe one or two. Right? They're gonna play who they're gonna play. You got KD. Everybody, some people in the world believe that KD is the greatest scorer to ever play the game. I'm not one of those people, but there's a lot of people that watch this show that feel that way. So you got the greatest scorer of all time, who plays a little bit of defense, plays a little bit. You got Kyrie Irving. You got James Harden,
Hey, he just said that's enough said.
Right? And Harden, he did the same thing in Houston, right? I'm going to take a couple of days off because I want to rest this hamstring or ankle or knee, whatever it is, whatever. His back, I think it was 1 year. Harden, this is typical Harden fashion before he goes into the playoffs. lights up the scoreboard, beats the Knicks in the first round, and then loses in the second, right? Like this is what Harden does. So we're not seeing anything new from these players. Like,
True.
they'll be fine come playoffs. They're getting through the first round, whoever it is. Second round gets a little tougher, right? I think they'll compete. I see, as long as Juan said they don't get an injury, they don't get a real injury, they'll get through the second round, and then NBA, the Eastern Conference Finals, we'll see. I'm not guaranteeing them all the way to the finals, but
we're talking Nets right now. So you're not going to guarantee them to the finals. They're not your favorite. They're not
my favorite.
Out the East.
They're not my favorite out the East.
Okay.
They're not my favorite out the East.
We gonna drop a name.
You want me to drop a name?
Yeah, it's that time,
See,
baby. We got like a week.
Hot take because I've been hating on them for like years, but I think they're finally. They're cooking right now, and it's the Sixers.
Oh,
It's the Sixers.
Really? The Sixers? Okay, fella.
Yeah, they're like Ben Simmons is actually a baller. You know what I mean? Like, Ben Simmons can play.
Of course.
Like,
Can't shoot.
You know me. I've never been a Ben Simmons fan. I was always like, it's hype. It's all hype. But he's leading that team right now. Joel Embiid is the best big man in the league right now. And when he wants to play, he can play. I think he is a little more clutch than Giannis. A lot more clutch than Giannis. You don't got to crawl, baby.
Hey, Susie.
I think the Sixers have. I think, honestly, I would not be surprised if the Sixers won it all.
Wow,
Not
man!
I think.
So what happened to the Clippers? So what happened? First, it was the Clippers are winning it all.
Hey, remember when I told you the Clippers shouldn't let Doc Rivers go? Who's Doc Rivers coaching?
See, okay.
Remember when I said the Clippers made a mistake?
Master Juan. So
Yeah.
Juan, who do you have making it out of the East? We're talking. Is it really the Knicks? Is it really?
No. Last time I was on, I said the Sixers.
Sixers, yes, you did. Everyone agreed that the Sixers.
I'm sticking with the Sixers, but obviously I'm gonna be rooting for the Knicks, and whatever we get out of the Knicks, like we're playing with house money right now, but we're hungry, so we're gonna push the Knicks.
Let's push the Knicks. I like them. Thibodeau got him playing the right way. He got him playing fast, got him playing hard. That was a great coach. That was one of the biggest moves that the Knicks have made in a while.
No, but honestly, he's surprised as well, because a lot of people were down on him and his coaching style and
True.
Whatever.
He wears his players down.
Yeah, and all that stuff and whatever. What I like is that he's using the guards as he should. Like, they're young guys, and he just has them slashing and driving. Like, just go to the hoop. And that style, honestly, is probably not gonna work out in the playoffs. Game 4 or 5 or whatever. Of a series, because the defense tightens up a lot. But still, I like the way he's got these guys just working.
He's got him fired up. And when I say he wears his players down, we're gonna pivot. Like, players with the quick turnaround this season, I feel like a lot of these high-profile players, we're seeing injury. Do we think it's because of the quick turnaround, gentlemen? Quickly, like, Matt, let me know. How do you feel about it?
I don't think so. The numbers don't suggest that it is, right? If you look
Am I just a salty Laker fan right now?
Yeah, what it is we're seeing a lot of, like, most of the superstars in the NBA are getting older. The names that we're used to are now 35 plus. And we're seeing injuries to 35 plus year old players, but we've always seen injuries to 35 plus year old players. Just our favorite players haven't been 35 plus.
Yeah. What about Jamal Murray?
Okay.
Jamal Murray's a young man. We lost him.
Steph Curry was hurt the first 7 years of his of his career, right? So I don't think the injuries are any more or less. I don't. The numbers don't show it. It's just we're seeing a lot of big names, older big names. There are a couple, sparse a few young names in there here and there, but that's every year, right? Every year there's a couple young names that go
and
down.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Juan, how do you feel about this?
Jamal Murray getting hurt 3/4 of the season in is not due to a quick turnaround, because what happened the first 3/4 of the season?
What do you mean? But the wear and tear on the best player, he went deep into the deep playoff push last year, pretty much, you know?
I understand, but these guys, this is what they do. These guys are athletes. Even
True.
When they're in the off season, these dudes are playing pickup ball. And I'm sure obviously it's not the same atmosphere, but still, these guys never stop playing. It's not like they take off 3 months, whatever. These guys are always playing. They're pickup wherever against each other with lower competition, whatever it is. These guys are always going. So yeah, obviously you want to give your players some rest, but these guys can go, especially young guys.
It seemed like, guys, I'm sorry.
Back in my day, Tony, I would play 6 days a week.
I know, I hear you. And I'm sorry, guys, if I'm coming off snappy. It's just Anthony Davis seemed like the quick turnaround's affecting him. He follows every single run down the floor. He's running into scorers tables. Like,
look at this.
A lot's going on with Anthony Davis.
If you look at how team for you see a lot of Lakers going down, but you also have to look at how teams are playing the Lakers right now in the season. They're trying to be a lot more physical with the Lakers. They're trying to beat them up. They're trying to wear them down. They're trying to see if they can if that will work in the playoffs. So if you go back to the earlier parts of the season, teams are not playing the Lakers as physically as they are, right? So who's to say that if they were getting played that way early on in the season, they wouldn't be hurt as well? Players wouldn't have been going down. I think it's just the style of play that they're getting right now is affecting the older players. Anthony Davis is not old, but
he's not.
But he does have a history of injury, right? Like not major injuries, but he has a history of missing a lot of games. I mean, this is part of this is not new per se.
And he's a big man, so he's down there taking a lot of punishment. Probably half the reason why he wants to play the 4 and not the 5.
But not only that though, but because of his good defense and his dexterity, he has to play out in the wing a lot of times.
Yeah.
And whatever, on offense, he's trying to play a low post type thing. And on defense, he's often going out and trying to, corral guards, changing stuff, whatever. I don't know. I'm obviously all speculation, but that can't be easy on a guy who's as big as he is now to like stretch out that leg to try and cut somebody off.
I know. And
I don't know. I'm just saying like that kind of stuff, that's a real wear and tear on a player that is heavier and he has a really big upper body. So, and his legs aren't necessarily like, they're kind of skinny or whatever. I'm speculating obviously, but
I hear you.
Usually the smaller guards don't have any issue, lunging or whatever on a more consistent basis than a big man.
It's more ground to cover, bigger limbs,
and he's getting beat. Like I don't know the numbers for sure, but I'm sure if you go look at his free throws per game early in the season versus free throws per game late in the season, it's increased because they are hitting him more. They are.
They're trying to test him out. Gentlemen, I'm worried about the Lakers. I know we got to get out of here, but just we're gonna put a period on the episode. We're worried about the Lakers going into the playoffs.
I'm not worried.
I'm worried. I know y'all got your teams or whatever, but I'm worried about the Lakers, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you for joining me, faithful fans. Thank you for joining us for episode 56 of the Faithful Fan Show. What y'all got to say for fans?
Stick around for 56 more because we only getting better.
That's right, Matt.
Subscribe, like,
all
my boy here.
Yeah.
He never says it. Come on, dog. Subscribe to you.
Subscribe to the Faithful Fan Show. Hey, thank you, fellas. Dun, 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 dun.
In the paint, going hard with the venom. Shot so much, man, I think I need a leg. In the paint, going hard with the venom. Shot so much, man, I think I need a leg. Animal, MC Cannibal, rap Hannibal. Here to change the game, mainframe, all y'all programmable. Coaching on tracks, balling like a paper like Phil. I'm obvious and real, my rhymes convict and heal. A world blind, my lines a red pill, real. Ball like I've been here, rookie in his prime. Focus like Jordan the second time. Kobe in playoff times, you know believe when I drop. Call for it, Kelly go in the Blizo spit. Auto like free throws by Ito. Jerk the loose stroke magic. Rhymes over all y'all like Dirk for 2. Rookie in the game, insane, coming for you. GGB the crew.